September 4th. Still becalmed. Very short rations for dinner, and I got less than anyone. Caspian is very clever at helping, and thinks I don't see. Lucy, for some reason, tried to make up to me by offering me some of hers, but that interfering prig Edmund wouldn't let her. Pretty hot sun. Terrible thirst all evening. September 5th. Still becalmed and very hot. Feeling rotten all day, and am sure I've got a temperature. Of course they haven't the sense to keep a thermometer on board. September 6th. A horrible day. Woke up in the night, knowing I was feverish and must have a drink of water. Any doctor would have said so. Heaven knows I'm the last person to try and get any unfair advantage, but I never dreamed that this water rationing would be meant to apply to a sick man. In fact, I would have woken the others up and asked for some, only I thought it would be selfish to wake them up. So I got up and took my cup and tiptoed out of the black hole we sleep in, taking great care not to disturb Caspian and Edmund, for they've been sleeping badly since the heat and the short water began. I always try to consider others whether they are nice to me or not. I got out all right into the big room, if you call it a room, where the rowing benches and the luggage are. The thing of water is at the end. All was going beautifully, but before I'd drawn a cupful, who should catch me but that little spy Reep. I tried to explain that I was going on deck for a breath of air. The business about the water had nothing to do with him, and he asked me why I had a cup. He made such a noise that the whole ship was roused. They treated me scandalously. I asked, as anyone would have, why Reepicheep was sneaking around the water cask in the middle of the night. He said that he was too small to be any use on deck, but he did sentry over the water every night so that one more man could go to sleep. Now comes their rotten unfairness. They all believed him. Can you beat that? I had to apologize, or the dangerous little brute would have been at me with his sword. And then Caspian showed up in showed his true colors as a brutal tyrant, and said out loud for everyone to hear that anyone found stealing water in the future would get 2 dozen. I didn't know that what this meant till Edmund explained it to me. It comes in all sorts of books those pensive kids read. After this cowardly threat, Caspian changed his tune and started being patronizing. Said he was sorry for me, and that everyone felt just as feverish as I did, and we must all make the best of it, etc., etc. Odious stuck-up prig. Stayed in bed all day today. September 7th. A little wind today, but still from the west. Made a few miles eastward with part of the sail set on what Drinian calls the jury mast. That means the bowsprit set upright and tied. They call it lashed to the stump of the real mast. Still terribly thirsty. September 8th. Still sailing east. I stay in my bunk all day now, and see no one except Lucy till the two fiends come to bed. Lucy gives me a little of her water ration. She says girls don't get as thirsty as boys. I had often thought this, but it ought to be more generally known at sea. September 9th. Land in sight, a very high mountain a long way off to the southeast. September 10th. The mountain is bigger and clear, but still a long way off. Gulls again today for the first time since I don't know how long. September 11th. Caught some fish and had them for dinner. Dropped anchor about 7 p.m. in 3 fathoms of water in a bay of this mountainous island. That idiot Caspian wouldn't let us go ashore because it was getting dark, and he was afraid of savages and wild beasts. Extra water rations tonight. What awaited them on this island was going to concern Eustace more than anyone else, but it cannot be told in his words because after September 11th he forgot about keeping his diary for a long time. When morning came, with a low grey sky but very hot, the adventurers found that they were in a bay encircled by such cliffs and crags that it was like a Norwegian fjord. In front of them, at the head of the bay, there was some level land, heavily overgrown with trees that appeared to be cedars, through which a rapid stream came out. Beyond that was a steep ascent ending in a jagged ridge, and behind that a vague darkness of mountains which ran into dull-colored clouds, so that you could not see their tops. The nearer cliffs at each side of the bay were streaked here and there with lines of white, which everyone knew to be waterfalls, though at that distance they did not show any movement or make any noise. Indeed, the whole place was very silent, and the water of the bay was smooth as glass. It reflected every detail of the cliffs. The scene would have been pretty in a picture, but it was rather oppressive in real life. It was not a country that welcomed visitors.